Hi, my name is Renato Almeida. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. I'm a PR and I've been working with SEGA, and you are listening to SEGA Lounge.
Welcome to the SEGA Lounge, a podcast dedicated to our love for all things SEGA, be it the games, the music, or the community. I'm KC. In each episode, I'll be talking to different guests and sharing their projects and their passion for SEGA. Hello there! Welcome to the SEGA Lounge podcast. We are back for a new episode, and I'm glad you're on that side ready to listen. The Sega and Sega adjacent news keep on coming, and this week we finally saw a new trailer for the House of the Dead remake. The game had been announced, I believe, over a year ago, and it's now confirmed to be coming out on Nintendo Switch. According to the press release and official website, this will be a remade version of the game introduced in 1997. A classic arcade rail shooter receives a whole new entourage and gameplay changes to suit modern gaming standards. Of course, you can expect more news and relevant interviews regarding this game on the SEGA Lounge in the future. I would also like to give a special shout out to my friends Dan and James, hosts of the Sega Guys Retropod. You probably remember how much fun we had together when they came on the SEGA Lounge last season, and now they've been gracious enough to have me as a guest on their Retropod. It was, as expected, a lot of fun, and on that particular episode of their My Favorite Sega series, I share my favorite Sega console, game, and song, while adding in some cheeky honorable mentions. Feel free to give it a listen, the link will be in the show notes. And remember to follow the Sega Guys Retropod, as it's amazing, and it's celebrating its 1-year anniversary soon with a very special episode. Well then, let's talk about this week's guest. Although, you already know who that is. This week, Renato Almeida is back for the second part of our conversation. Not only will we have the conclusion of the SEGA Lounge Challenge, but learn more about Renato's PR and communication company, his current work relationship with Sega, and the story of how he met Sega's current CEO. If for some reason you're new here and haven't listened to the first part, please go back to episode 147 and then you can come back and listen to this second part. I promise it'll make more sense. Previously on the SEGA Lounge Challenge.
You're so cruel. Oh my god, you can be really cruel with this mystery. Oh my god.
And now, back to our regularly scheduled torture. So,
Cool.
it's time for another song! Yay!
Let's go to the song. Yes.
Let's go
the
to
song.
another song. Let's listen. Hmm.
Dude, that's a hard one. I don't immediately remember.
Should I play it again?
Yes, please, one more time. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Mm, well, I'll have to. It's going to be a long shot, but it's from a game that I didn't play as much as I should. I'll try to. I'll risk myself and say it's Streets of Rage 3, but I'm not certain at all. I didn't play as much Streets of Rage 3 as I should, uh, and I don't have a better guess at the moment. Uh,
So Streets of Rage 3 for the game. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yes, yes. I would never
Okay.
know the name of the song or the level.
So we're
Uh,
not we're not gonna
I,
even try for that other point. So just the point for the game.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, it's only the point for the game. Can you play
Mm.
one more time? Just one more
I
time.
I can one more time.
I don't think it's Streets of Rage 3. Oh, damn. But I don't recall this song at all. Well, let's take a guess, and maybe it is Streets of Rage 3. I don't think it is, but I don't have a better guess right now.
Okay. So I'm gonna lock it in. Final answer, right? Streets of Rage 3.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you
It's wrong.
something before I tell you the answer. This
Mm.
song was composed by Yuzo Koshiro,
Yeah,
which you know,
most certain that it's his
so
signature.
could be Streets of Rage 3, could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
something else.
Hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's something else. This
Yes,
is
it's something else.
Ninja Step from The Revenge of Shinobi, which means no
Okay.
points for you. No points for you. No, this was Revenge of
Yeah.
Shinobi. Yeah, yeah. No, not Streets
Okay,
of Rage
cool.
3. But you know, you were there. You were there in the general vicinity of
Yeah.
this game with the same composer. So yeah, yeah.
Yes, his beats are too famous. Are too
Yeah.
familiar.
Okay, so no points, but still 8 points so far, which is
Okay.
very
Cool.
amazing.
Cool.
Really, really amazing. So four
Cool.
questions or challenges left. Number 7, another
Okay.
question. Easy or hard, Renato?
Let's go with hard this time.
Hard this time. Okay, that's a good choice. So let's go with let's see. Let's make it hard.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Hmm. Are you familiar with Alex Kidd? Of course you are.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, Alex Kidd makes a cameo appearance in the Japanese exclusive Dreamcast game Sega Gaga. What
Ooh.
is Alex's job in the game? He has a job in Sega Gaga.
Yeah, this is a game that I really, really wanted to play, and oh my god, I have hope that someday we are able to. But I didn't play this game, and I know that he, as several other characters from Sega's history, made appearances, special appearances there, but
Mhm.
I won't be sure. I'll have to take a guess.
So what do you
Um,
think he should be doing in Sega Gaga? What's his job?
oh my god. Let's say he's an executive, like a businessman, something like that. I
like
don't
you
know.
were, like you were as a kid.
Yes, yes.
Mm. So a
Okay.
businessman, an executive at Sega, or
Yeah, one of Sega's businessmen. Yeah,
okay,
almost like a
final answer.
salaryman, a Japanese salaryman.
Salary,
Yeah,
yes,
let's
Japanese
go.
salaryman. So
Yes,
final
let's
answer,
go with
yeah,
that.
let's go with that.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. So Alex Kidd has a really sad story to tell in Sega Gaga.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he you meet Alex Kidd and he tells the sad story of how he was like Sega's mascot, and then
Mm-hmm.
Sonic came along, and he got
Uh-huh.
relegated, and never people never wanted to hear of him again. And
Mm-hmm.
you meet Alex while he's working as a video game store clerk. So that was the correct answer. No
Ah,
points. No points.
ah.
Still 8
Okay.
points though. You need 2 more,
Okay. Cool.
and
Okay.
you'll have an amazing chance to get 2 points right now with our last song. Thing
Okay.
is,
Okay.
it's the last one, so we have to enter hard mode for this. The
Oh.
song is in reverse.
Oh my
Can
God.
you can you tell what it is by just listening to 10 seconds of the song in reverse?
I'll try my
Let's give
best.
it a
I'll try my
try. Let's
best.
give it a try. Actually sounds good. Anything?
Okay. Okay. Uh, mm, can you play once more
Yes,
another time,
yes, for sure. Sure, sure.
please? Okay, give me 1 minute. I'm trying to reorganize what I've what I've been listening
To
to.
play it
1 second.
backwards in your head. Hmm. What could it
I
be?
think it's Fantasy Zone. I think it's Fantasy Zone. Oh my god, it sounds like Fantasy Zone. Oh my god. Okay, let's go with Fantasy Zone.
So 1 point for game, 1 point for song. So where does this play? What song is it? Any clue?
I think it's the first level of Fantasy Zone.
Hmm.
Oh my god, it's so hard.
So final
Okay,
answer? Yeah.
uh,
Should I play it
yeah,
again?
let's go with.
Just one more time?
Oh my god, maybe
You could
Fantasy
you could be
Zone
right though.
two. Oh my god. Okay, one play. Can you play it one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with the first level of Fantasy Zone.
That's your final answer. Fantasy Zone first
Yeah,
level.
it's
Yeah.
my
Okay.
my final guess.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna play the song the proper way, not in reverse. Okay. You can't
Okay.
change anything now. Let's see. You will tell
Yeah,
me
yeah,
if
for
it's right or
sure.
wrong. Okay. Let's take a listen. So, Fantasy Zone. They do say,
I think
"Welcome to the Fantasy Zone. Get ready." But it's Space Harrier, the stage music, the theme of Space Harrier. So no points, unfortunately.
Oh my
But it's
god.
the
Oh
same.
my
It's the
god.
same universe. It's Fantasy Zone, but not
Oh
the
my
game
god.
Fantasy
Actually,
Zone.
actually, actually, I made a mess. I made a mess. It's all my fault. I gave you the wrong answer, but I thought Space Harrier. I was thinking about
Oh,
the phrase. Oh my god.
okay. It's
Ah,
okay.
damn. Okay. No, no, but
We need two
no need.
points.
No need.
We need 2 more points.
Okay. Okay. Let's do
So
this.
number 9 is the last one in which you can choose between an easy or a hard question. Number 10 is a hard question. It's always a hard
Okay.
question. So, do you want an easy
Okay.
question or a hard question? You need 2 points though.
No, no. I need 2 points. Let's go with the hard question.
Hard question. Okay. So, for
Yes.
a hard question for 2 points.
Mhm.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Okay. So, let's go with this one. In Shenmue 2, what morning task does Ryo have to perform every day at Manmo Temple? So in Shenmue 2, the morning task that Ryo has to perform every day at Manmo Temple.
Mm.
He has to do something every day, for a period of time at least. He has to do something. He goes to the temple. Do you remember the temple? Do you remember that part of the story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh huh. I
It's
think it's
Hewing.
oh my god.
What are you thinking? Walk me through your
I think
thoughts.
I think organizing the books, but if I recall, there's more things to do in terms of.
So explain what happens. What does he have to do exactly?
There's one part of the game in which you have to bring everything, all the books, and I don't recall if it's books per se, but like yeah, books for with the writings of the temple outside and
Hmm.
then back inside, But
Hmm.
there are other tasks, and don't recall if that's correct.
Okay. Okay.
uh, but I would say, as a guess, it's organizing the.
The books.
I don't know if I can say like a library, if that's a
Yeah.
library or a
Yeah. There's
study.
a library in the temple. Yes. So.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of the tasks that you
Hmm.
have to do for a certain
Hmm.
period of time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let's go with that answer.
Yeah.
I
And
hope
it's correct. It's
that's
correct, Renato.
yes,
Yes. Yes. You have to
yes.
air out the books. You have to air out the books.
Air
You have to
out.
bring them
Yes,
out, and then there's another person that
yes,
opens them up and puts them in those
yes.
benches there. But you have to bring them out, right? So, and
You
that's
know what I
the
said? What
test
I
you have to
said?
do repeatedly.
Yeah, you know what I why I said organizing, because I had this system to do this part of the
Yeah.
game. I had my own system, so I kind of was organizing things in my
Yeah.
head to make the
I think
the
we all did.
the chore more easier. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So 10
Oh my god.
points. 10
Woo!
points, you made it. But let's ask the
Woo!
final question, okay? Let's ask the
Okay,
final
let's do
question
this.
anyway. Let's
Okay.
see if you can get 12 points at least. So, final question.
Okay, hit me.
Have you played um hmm, have you played Echo the Dolphin?
Echo the Dolphin, yes, I didn't beat the game, but
Okay.
I did play back in the day. Uh-huh.
Okay. So, what is the name of the alien race who are the main antagonists in the Mega Drive Echo the Dolphin games?
The name of
There's
the alien race.
there's an alien
Come
race.
again?
You have to
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you have to fight an alien race who takes away Echo's family at the beginning of the first game, right? They have a name. They're like a race that every certain number of years they come back. I think it's like 400 or 500 years they come back to feed. They have a name. What's the name
Yeah,
of the race?
this is actually a good guess, because the other day I Ed Annunziata, one of the
Mm-hmm.
developers of the game, started to follow me on Twitter,
Okay.
and he has this very interesting list of people who beat Echo the Dolphin. So he keeps
Yes.
track of the people who beat the game, which is amazing. But you have to prove that you beat the game. I obviously
Mm-hmm.
didn't beat the game, but I was so curious that I decided to go to YouTube to see the ending. I never saw the ending before that, and I remember I don't recall if I saw lots of pieces of video about the game, because I only played the first levels. But I remember that the final boss, or maybe one of the final bosses, was the Foe Queen. So I think the alien race is the name is Foe, or the Foe, or something like that. I don't know. If I say default or foe, and it's the opposite, I'm going to lose all my points or something.
I don't know. I don't know.
uh,
mm, okay.
let's go with default. Default.
Okay. The foe. The foe. Um,
Uh,
so your
okay,
answer,
if I got this if
yeah,
I got this wrong, Ed is going to stop following me on Twitter. So please don't share this with him.
he's gonna stop following you on Twitter, but not exactly because you got this wrong. I'll explain.
Okay.
So there
Mm.
is the Mega Drive series, Echo series,
Mm-hmm.
and there's the Dreamcast
Mm-hmm.
game, right? Which
Mm.
Ed had nothing to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
follows
okay.
a slightly different, similar but slightly different storyline. So
Mm-hmm.
in the
Mm-hmm.
Dreamcast game,
Mm.
you know the aliens as the foe, and you have to fight
Mm-hmm.
the foe queen, indeed. But in the Mega
Mm-hmm.
Drive game, they are known as the Vortex, and the queen is known as the
Mm.
Vortex Queen. Okay, so that was the
Oh
correct
shit.
answer. So it's slightly different, and because he was not involved with the Dreamcast game, he's not
Oh, I didn't
following
know
you
that.
on
I
Twitter
didn't know
anymore.
that.
He
Oh,
isn't follow. He
I
isn't
didn't know
following
that.
right now. it's
Okay, you just checked. Okay.
yes.
Actually, I
He's
didn't know
always
that.
listening.
I thought he was one
Yeah.
of the owners of the IP. For to be real,
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So he's the creator of the character and the whole universe. He has his
Mm-hmm.
own
Mm-hmm.
story, his own lore, a bit like Yu Suzuki and Shenmue. I think he has
I
this
see.
like
I see.
whole
Uh-huh.
plan for the story of Echo, but then at some
Mm-hmm.
point, I don't think he owned at least everything. Somehow, maybe
Mm-hmm.
he owned certain parts, certain characters, and that's why they decided to go a slightly different way with the Dreamcast game. I'm really not sure. I really don't know. I'm just guessing here, but I know he was not involved in the Dreamcast game.
Yes, yes. I was watching a lot of videos about Echo the Dolphin, and I don't recall. I saw like I won't remember who was talking about the game. I don't remember if it was from that guy Sega Lord X or someone like really Sega
Hmm.
oriented, but someone put a video about the Echo series, and
Hmm.
I must be mixing all of the storylines and enemies and foes and etc.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I really thought Ed was like one of an IP owner or something like that, and that he was involved with all the
Hmm.
games. But this is brand new information for me.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. Unfortunately, and
Cool, cool. Okay,
I'd love to
another
see a
piece.
new. I'd love to see a new Echo the Dolphin game. I'm a big fan of Echo, so I would love
Oh,
to
nice,
see
nice,
a new one.
nice.
A new one. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure,
but
for sure.
that means you get 10 points. So no worries, you get 10
Yes,
points, which means you
yes,
get our official Sega Lounge seal of approval, which you have there right now to check out, and it's yours. Well
yes.
done, Renato. Well done.
Thank
Congratulations. I
you,
just
thank you
sent
so
you.
much.
It's an
Thank
actual
you.
thing. It's a proper seal of approval. Okay.
Oh, nice, nice. Nice. I didn't get like a seal of approval from the Sega test last month, even though I've passed the test. But now I have the
This
Sega
is
Lounge
better.
one. It's
This
way
is
better,
even better.
way
Yes, way
better,
better.
way
More
better.
official as
But
well.
I really liked the music challenges. Really nice,
Next
great
time you're on the
challenges.
show, we're just gonna have nothing but music, all music challenge
Okay,
next
cool,
time.
cool, cool, nice.
Okay, Renat, let's talk a little bit about your company. So you have started a company a few years ago. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what it is and what kind of work you guys do?
Yeah, absolutely. It would be a pleasure. I am the founder of this agency called Masamune. So I started this agency. It was a long time dream for me. So it was something that I was envisioning. I was trying to bring this, to make this a reality for me. But I started Masamune as a PR and communications agency to offer consultancy and to offer services related to communication and marketing, but focused in public relations for video games and entertainment. So I have been working with other agencies as an employee since 2010, 2011 actually. And after a long time representing several other clients in some agencies, I wanted to bring my own vision and my own experience and to share more about my beliefs, my personal beliefs when it comes to this industry. And that was made possible in 2018 thanks to the support of my lovely wife. She was the first one supporting me with that decision. And then it was one of those stories in which you start very scared. There's a lot of reasons to be scared. I have a kid. I have a son, and he was really small, like less than a year old by that time. And so I had these uncertainties regarding the incoming, my personal income, and the finances, and the situation with a small baby,
Yeah.
But it was, as we said, a leap of faith. There's
Yeah.
there's a time in our lives, in our professional lives, that everybody, I think, faces this situation of, oh, should I do this or should I stay in this position? So it was a leap of faith, and I decided to take that opportunity, and I started the company. My very first client was Sega. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I started when I first decided to create the company. I came up with the name, so that was the first thing. So when I had the name, when I was set on that, I knew that it was official, and I didn't have any clients. I didn't bring any clients from other companies at that time, nothing like that. I wanted to be as legit and faithful and honor my responsibility and my legacy. So I didn't
Yeah.
do any shade moves. I didn't.
You didn't steal any clients or anything.
Yes. It was very important. It was very important to stay true to my values.
So can I ask you? Can I ask you about the name itself? So Masamune.
Yes.
Why?
So I wanted to pay homage to Masamune, the blacksmith, the famous Japanese blacksmith. And there's a reason for that. I believe that my role as a PR, as a representative of a company, video games company, or a product or a game, is that of developing stories. What I want to do, what I envision for this company was to be a person that will create engaging stories that will connect the product, that story of the product of the company, connect that to the audience and to the journalists and to the media. And I think that there's a similarity when you are creating a story that recalls to when you are creating a sword, just like Masamune used it to do, because we want to use the power of those stories to cut through the noise of the industry. So we want to forge stories like like he used it to forge his words. So my stories, they have to be as sharp as his words, his swords. So
that's a brilliant answer. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much. So in my mind, I had this idea of this connection, So
Uh-huh.
powerful stories and powerful swords, powerful weapons like those that he created. They have a similarity, So I wanted to incorporate
Hmm.
this into the name of the agency. I
Okay.
wanted that the name to be as symbolic as possible. And since
Okay.
I'm crazy about Japanese culture, this was also a manner to pay my tribute, for
Hmm.
what I've learned throughout the years and what I had the opportunity to visit Japan twice,
Okay.
and I had the chance to go to museums and to witness part of this history. So this is very, very important, and I have this connection. My wife, she says that this is because of past lives. I'm not sure, but my wife, she's Japanese. She's a descendant of Japanese.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's part of my life. My son
yeah.
now, he's part Japanese, part Italian, part from my Portuguese heritage as well, but and Brazilian. So
Yeah.
it's that amazing mix.
Hmm.
But that's the reason for the name of the
Yeah.
company. And
Awesome. Awesome. Do you think that helped with getting through to Japanese companies as well, or
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
yeah? Hmm.
Uh, I think so. I think that was very helpful, and because I have a lot of experience with Japanese publishers and developers and companies throughout my career, I followed this path of encountering Japanese companies and promoting their games. I have this connection since I was a kid. My favorite games, there were Japanese games from Japanese companies, so it helped a lot. So the
Hmm.
experience,
Hmm.
my past with those games and those companies has helped a lot. I can tell you that. So when I
Yeah.
when I when I got the name, I knew that that was for real. So I started the legal part of creating a company. So registering everything and having my own website and putting together like a presentation or something. But I remember that we were a couple of months before the launch of Yakuza 6,
Hmm.
and I'm crazy about Yakuza. I told you that my favorite game is Sonic. My second favorite game is Streets of Rage. My third one Shenmue, and my fourth one Yakuza.
Okay.
So yeah, so Yakuza is a very important franchise. It's something that I carry very close to my heart, and I had the chance to work with Yakuza in the past when I was working for another agency. I was the PR responsible for Yakuza Dead Souls in
Okay.
2012, and it was
Yeah.
amazing. It was amazing. It's one of the games that people don't like a lot. I can agree with that. It's not the best one, but it was special to be a part of that campaign for sure.
Can I tell you
And
something that I've been telling a lot of people recently because we've been talking about Yakuza recently all over the place, but Dead Souls was my first Yakuza game.
oh, really?
And I think I'm not in the majority because I liked the game
Yeah, I
and
like the game.
it made me want to try out the mainline games. So it wasn't that bad if it brought me to the whole
Yeah, for
Yakuza
sure, for
series.
sure, for sure. And you're not the only one who told me that, because um, they did like a great move when they put zombies in the mix, because people who were passionate about zombies and the horror genre, if I can say, they thought that that was an interesting mix, the Japanese mob, the yakuza, and zombies, and this horror vibes in the game. So yeah, for sure, that game helped to bring new fans to the series. So
Hmm.
yeah, and it was even it was way more special because I was involved with the campaign, and it was
Yeah.
really nice. So having worked with the franchise in the past, I was following the news and from sites from abroad, and I thought about uh, I I should totally start or should totally put together like a PR plan and present that to Sega. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know who should I approach to do that. I had the connections, I had the contacts, but I was flying solo, you know. So
Yeah.
I didn't have a company. So I had a name, I had a website, but the company it starts when you have the client, you know. So I was taking a shower, and that's the moment when I have the best ideas. And I had
You and me
this.
both. You and me both. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I had this idea to put together a PR plan that was very connected to this value that I told you of telling a good story and creating a PR narrative to involve and to bring the media together and to make them a part of the story. And yeah, I created that. I created like a PowerPoint presentation and started to knocking some doors, and I found the right person at the right time, and I shared that plan, and it was like a instant acceptance. You know, they really liked the idea.
Hmm.
I wanted to be as cost effective as possible because I knew that the finance aspect would be important because companies, big companies, they have budgets that they have already have assigned for projects since the beginning of the fiscal year. You know, so
Yeah.
how could I justify the investment in a project that they never thought they would approve from a territory that they didn't first think about investing? You know, like Brazil.
So let me just stop you right there and ask you about exactly that. So how big is modern Sega? Because retro Sega, the Sega of old Mega Drive, Master System, etc., is still big in Brazil, right? But how big is modern Sega, and how big is the Yakuza franchise, or how big was it when you first
Mhm.
started thinking about this idea of promoting Yakuza 6 over there?
Okay, so yeah, so Sega is very big and very important in Brazil because of the heritage, you know. So the past that the amazing stories of success, uh, they've paved way to create this very important image in the country, you know. So Sega never left the thoughts and minds of gamers here, you know. Obviously, there's a lot of there's a lot of people who felt like they felt really sad when the company stopped creating consoles, when the Dreamcast died, you know, those
Mm-hmm.
common stories that we see. But when Sega started to create games and to publish games for other platforms such as the GameCube or PlayStation 2 and etc., it had its presence here, you know. So the company has this huge legacy, and that will be very important for a long time, you know. So it will take. I would say that Sega would have to make like a really big series of mistakes to make this legacy disappear, you know. But there's this need from the consumers here of presence. They need the presence here, you know. So when I first started working with them in 2011, it was huge. It was the first time that Sega had proper PR and a proper consultancy in the country since the days of Tectoy. So it was huge
Yeah.
when we announced that Sega was back.
Mhm.
So it was really,
You're reminding
really.
me of a Twitter account
Mm,
by Brazilian fans that's called
hmm
a Sega Voltou.
Yeah, it's a good friend of
Did Sega
mine.
come back?
A good friend of mine, and the reason that's the reason of the name. So, yeah, the name it's for that specific reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, and by that time, Yakuza was. I can tell you that nobody knew anything about Yakuza. Some
Mhm.
people who were very passionate about the PlayStation 2 and the games of the PlayStation 2. They knew Yakuza because they tried, or because they wanted to check the game, because at some point someone thought that it was a good idea to compare that game to GTA, the GTA
Yeah.
series. So some journalists, they knew about Yakuza, but it was a very difficult product to work with, because the legacy and the brand name wasn't so strong.
Mhm.
So it was interesting to work with that game, because it was a challenge, a personal challenge, uh, but also difficult to position the game and to make the situation interesting, and to convince people to give the game a chance, if they didn't know the past games, the main series, the games of the main series. But when I presented this project for Yakuza 6 to Sega, I had this idea to fix this problem. So my idea was it was very bold, if I can say, because the challenge was supposed to be the last game with the main protagonist,
Mhm.
Kazuma, and we had to promote that game as a good entry point, even though a lot of
Yeah.
people didn't play the previous ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a real challenge.
A real challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. So my idea was to create a story that would surpass the video games world and bring that to real life. So the PR plan started with a press kit. So the first thing that we did was to develop a press kit, and this press kit had like a Japanese box, imitating like a testament.
Mhm.
Uh, so when you open the box, we will see like a letter from Kazuma himself, telling his story from the other games, and sharing the information with the editor who would receive the box, that now he's pursuing someone to fill his shoes. So the
Yeah.
editors in the websites and magazines and etc. would be candidates to occupy his position as one of the important members of the Yakuza,
The Tojo clan.
the Tojo clan, the Yakuza family, that Yakuza family,
Yeah.
So this way, I've managed to create, to sum up the story of the entire series, as a testament, as some sort of a legacy. And
Mhm.
Kazuma himself was inviting them to know more about his story and to help him fulfill his destiny with this last game. And
Yeah.
accompanying that, there was a Popo box. It was a gift from Kazuma. Okay, so it was a Popo box, and inside there was several real products that are in the game, like snacks and foods. So drinks. And so I don't know if you are aware of that, but Brazil has the biggest Japanese community outside of Japan. So in
I
our
didn't know that.
Japan,
Yeah.
yeah. So in our Japanese neighborhood, or Little Tokyo, if I can say.
Hmm.
There are lots of supermarkets and small markets selling products from Japan. So I bought like Boss coffee. I bought some snacks. I bought a series of products that are also in the game because the
Magazines,
game
right?
magazines,
I'm
manga.
looking at some pictures now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So yeah, so I
this is
bought
really
this.
well made.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So and then we sent that to the media, and and it was crazy. Their reaction was amazing. People were very surprised, very surprised, and very engaged because the people at Sega, they trust me to create this story. So I had to rewrite the story of all the previous games, So I had to do that in a concise way, and to make it as engaging as possible. So when
Hmm.
they received that, they started to get curious about the game and about that universe. And the reviews, they were amazing reviews, amazing experience that they had to share with their audience. And the most incredible part, they took all that information about the previous games and they created stories about that. So like guides. So this is your guide to start in the Yakuza universe by jumping in the story of Yakuza 6, So
Hmm.
I wanted to help them, to help the gamers in the audience, And the
Yeah.
case was very successful. PR wise, it was amazing. The numbers that we've managed to get was they were great, and it was a great success and a great calling card, if I can say,
Yeah.
my introduction to the market. So after that, clients started to appear, because I had something to present as Masamune, So Masamune was part of this market here in Brazil. Of course, I had
Hmm.
my own personal legacy, but now I had something that I did create with my own company, So
Yeah. Yeah.
that was the big start for
Hmm.
me. And a couple of months later, this was all done with the help and support of Sega of America. A couple of
Yeah.
months later, I had the opportunity. I was blessed to be a part of the Sega Forever project. I started the whole Sega Forever project when I was in my previous as an employee of the previous company that I was working at. But after I left that agency, Sega decided to stop their work for some time. And when I was established, like 6 months later, they decided, okay, it's a good idea to go work with Renato again, now that he has an agency. And then I had the opportunity to take part and be the PR of all of those re-releases from Sega
Okay.
Forever on mobile. And because of that story with Yakuza 6, I won't be humble about this, okay? But I think I helped a lot of people and a great part of the media to get to know and to start loving the Yakuza franchise. And this
Yeah.
year, in January or maybe the beginning of February, Sega once again came to me to ask for my help to release Yakuza Like a Dragon here in Brazil.
Hmm.
And this time we had the opportunity to be a part of the history of the franchise because for the first time a game in the series has brought Brazilian Portuguese subtitles because all of the other games we didn't have any type of localization, so it was
Yeah. Yeah.
the language barrier is heavy,
Hmm.
It's a Japanese spoken game with English subtitles, and if you consider the size of Brazil and the amount of people we have here, it's really hard to present a game so story driven as Yakuza
Yeah,
with no localization, and not
exactly.
even menus or in game assets. So Yakuza 6 was a success PR wise and in terms of grades and scores with the media, but the journalists they know how to speak and how to read English, so they're not essentially the audience that will buy the game. So it is important to have localization, and Sega understood that, and
Yeah,
they took a shot, and for the
because it's
first
it's
time.
a big market, right?
Yeah, it's a huge market. Obviously, our biggest cut of the market is from mobile gamers, but we have
Hmm.
a great share of console gamers and PC gamers. So it is something, and most important, we are part of one of the emerging markets. We are
Yeah.
growing. When we see other markets in Europe or maybe even the US stagnating or maybe facing a wall in terms of growth, we see that markets such as Brazil, and we have lots of problems to discuss when it comes to the market here, because we have very undervalued currency. We have problems with importing products from abroad, so taxes. So a lot of problems, but even though we managed to strive, so this is a market that everyone
Hmm.
should not underestimate. So
Underestimate. Yeah. Hmm. There are few things in this life as relaxing as fishing. The sounds of nature, connecting with the environment, getting in tune with your inner self. We know how important fishing is. That's why at Jim's Earthworms, we provide you with the best bait for your fishing trips. Jim's Earthworms are the meatiest, juiciest worms you'll find this side of the galaxy. Here at Jim's, we make sure to fight off hungry crows and launch the biggest cows so you can catch the largest fish. Jim's Earthworms, the grooviest bait, guaranteed. So we were talking earlier, and you said there was an interesting story about meeting a certain someone
oh
at a
yeah.
certain point. I guess by mistake, right? Would you like to tell us that story as well?
No, it was not by mistake.
Oh.
That's the best part. So uh, I started. I've come to this market, but originally I have this graduation in film school. So when I went to college, I was looking forward to be a filmmaker. So I got this graduation in film school. Then I started to study for a master's degree in philosophy in communication. And then I did a second college, I pursued a second college degree in advertising, so at the ad school. So I never thought that I would that I would be able to traverse this business world of entertainment and come to work with video games. But in 2009, I started a blog. It was a thing, so everybody wanted to have a blog to
Yeah.
talk about
Hmm.
video games. So I started this blog, and in 2010 I started to be more serious with this blog. So I was working with at a movie studio producing movies for students in in São Paulo. But I was kind of sick. I didn't want to work with the movie quote unquote industry here in Brazil. because it's too hard. It's difficult. We don't have a mature industry yet. So I wanted to change careers. I wanted to bring a change to my life. So what I did was to contact a friend of mine who was working as an editor of a website specialized in video games, and he told me that he could have some freelance jobs in the future. So I was writing every day on my blog, like pretending to be a real journalist, covering news and etc. and etc. And at some point, this friend of mine called me to be a cameraman, so to shoot some footage at a party in which they were launching one of the Gran Turismo games. So that was my first professional job in the video games industry. So I shoot some footage. It was amazing because I've managed to get inside those fancy and amazing cars of the game and recording material. And then I remember that I wrote also some stuff for that website of his. And the turning point was that one day, I don't recall which day it was, but one day I was starting my day on the internet, and I saw that there was some news regarding Sonic 4 Episode 1. And I decided to look into it because obviously I'm a Sonic fan, and I wanted to report about that on my blog. So it was like a piece of interview from this professional at Sega called Ken Ballow, and he was a brand manager or something like that, like a brand manager there for Sonic. And I did report about that, and I had some quotes from him, and my source was a website like Siliconera or Games Radar. I don't recall the source, but I wrote about that, included the source, and got the quotes from Ken in the news. And I continued with my life. It was March next year, and I was present at a games event here in Brazil called Game World, and I was looking and I was trying to find some work positions in companies related in some level with video games. So the organizer of that event was a company who was a publisher. They were a publisher of magazines, and they had this very traditional history with magazines, video games magazines in Brazil. So they were the official publishers of the official Nintendo magazine here in Brazil. And I bought hundreds of magazines from them, and I was a fan. So I was at that event, and I've managed to bump into the CEO of the company. I wanted to interview him for my blog. I did interview him for my blog, and by the end of the interview, I told him that I was looking for a job position, and if I was interested in marketing and things related to video games in general in a company like that, And he told me, well, you are very lucky because we just opened a new position at our company for a marketing professional. And okay, great. When can I start? and he told me to stop by and have an interview. The interview was great, and I started to work there as a marketing coordinator. So my job role was very simple. I had to study the magazines and the products of the company, and I had to create new campaigns and to do some work to improve the reach of the magazine and to improve the brand image of the magazines and etc. It didn't take long until they wanted me and they requested me to be a collaborator in the magazine as well. And I really wanted that because as a kid who grew up with magazines, it was like a dream to work in a place like that. So to have my own writings on a magazine. Whoa, of course, count me in. So I started to collaborate and to write pieces of previews, and etc. So it was great. It was great. So I was doing this marketing thing and also this journalist thing at that company. But multitasking. It was April, and I was told that I was going to E3. Can you believe that? I was in heaven. I couldn't believe, because oh my God, E3. I barely started here and I'm going to E3. But there was a reason for that. The reason was I was the only one who could operate a professional camera, and they wanted to do video stories there. They wanted to do video interviews. They wanted to do a lot of stuff because videos was a thing back in the day, So people were starting to invest on YouTube channels, on videos on their own platforms. So okay, let's do this. And I was preparing everything because I was going to be the guy behind the camera there. But also I had appointments to do some coverage work for the magazine, So I was going to be multitasking there as well. And oh my God, I could be if they told me that that I would have to work like 72 hours per day, it wasn't a problem, because oh my God, I'm going to E3, So that was my spirit back then.
Yes, of course.
But it gets better. Like 2 or 3 weeks before the trip to Los Angeles, my boss came to me. I had 2 bosses, actually. My 2 bosses came to me to share a piece of news that was very interesting. They wanted to create a new branch in the company, and they told me that they were going to start like a PR agency inside the company, and that they would want me to be part of that. So, and I was confused, I wasn't a PR. I didn't have any experience with that particular area, and but one of my bosses, he's a very experienced journalist. He's famous here in Brazil because of his stories. He writes for big newspapers and he has a huge blog. He's an influent guy. So he knew a lot about PR, not for being a PR, but because he was a journalist living the other side of PR, being the receiver of the messages created by PR and etc. So he started to share that knowledge with me as a preparation, in those 2 or 3 weeks before the trip. And on the week before the trip, he told me something that was that rocked my world. He told me that they've managed to secure some meetings with possible clients at E3. And he told me that the first client that he managed to get a meeting was SEGA. And they knew how crazy I am about SEGA. They knew that. And he told me, we are going to need you there at the meeting, because we know that you know a lot about SEGA. I don't know anything about SEGA. My partner, he doesn't know anything about SEGA, but we know that you know. So we will do the business talk and you will do the SEGA talk. Okay? And I said, well, okay, let's do this. I was shaking a lot. I was really, really nervous, but it helped a lot that was my first international trip ever, and it was a trip to Los Angeles for E3. So the ecstasies and the whole joy took over. So it helped me to not think about the situation and my nervous breakdown that I could have in a meeting with the SEGA people, and that's all the information that I had. Okay, I knew that we were going to have a meeting on the second day of E3, and it was going to be like a dinner meeting / dinner, and okay.
with maybe a few people from Sega, whoever they
Yes,
were, right? So
yes,
nothing
yes.
special.
Yeah, I knew
Already
that.
special because it was Sega, but no one
Yeah,
special, right?
yeah, absolutely. So they told me that a brand manager would be there,
Hmm.
and the another person from the marketing side, and that's it. That's everything I knew. And it was nice and it was great because on the first day of E3, the three of us we stopped by Sega's booth, and I saw that my boss was talking to Ken. Remember Ken Ballo, that guy
Yeah, yeah,
from my blog story? He was there, and
yeah.
oh my god, 6 months ago I was writing about you. Inside my head, please. I didn't tell him that. I
Of
wasn't
course, of course.
fanboying.
Yes, composure and
Yeah,
yeah,
super serious,
cool.
cool businessman, etc.
Yeah, of course, experienced. Yeah.
Yes. So, but inside, I was getting crazy. It was amazing. But yeah, okay. So Ken will be there. Nice. That's someone that I already know about this guy. I made my research on him. Okay, cool. And there was this other professional from Sega back in the day, and she is great. I love her. To this day, Jen Growling. She was creative services at Sega,
Mhm.
and that's it. I knew that they were going to be there, and that's it. And okay, so let's wait until Wednesday, second day of E3. Let's do a marvelous job at the show floor, and when we are done, we will have a great time with dinner in a fancy restaurant with the Sega people. And it was like a barbecue like a restaurant, and I was very composed. I did my breathing exercises or whatever to stay
Counted to
sharp.
10.
Yes, exactly. But when we entered the restaurant, the first person that I saw, and it was a thing that it was very funny because it was like my vision corrected itself and focused on one person only, and it was Haruki Satomi. I knew him back in the day. He was I don't know if he was VP already, but he was very close to be the vice president.
Hmm.
And I knew that that guy was huge. One of the big shots at Sega. Of course, everybody knew
Yeah.
that. If you were a Sega fan back in the day, you knew about him. And my whole work of preparation went down the drain. I had to cool down all over again, and I was I was thinking what will be my part on this meeting. Oh my god, what should I say? What would be my reaction? I was trying to think ahead of me and prepare myself, but obviously everything started really good. We were introduced, everybody introduced everybody one to the other, so it was okay. So it started with the introductions, some jokes, some laughs. We had the opportunity to talk more about Brazil. They told us
Hmm.
about the plans of Sega of bringing this expansion to Brazil in terms of communication and presence and etc. etc. We were also eating, so it was all doing very very good. My part until that part, I was only laughing and adding some phrases here and there,
Yeah.
helping my bosses to tell the story. But at some point, this my boss he said something like that. But it's also very important that we share our actual impression of Sega's presence here in Brazil, there in Brazil, and to tell you more about Sega and this perception. Uh, I would like to Renato to take the stand. So I was like thrown.
Put in the hot seat.
Exactly. So, and it was amazing. I don't know what happened there, uh, but I managed to secure a good spot, and I had my chance to present my vision and
Hmm.
my thoughts and what I've learned, and also all everything that I've been learning for the past 28 or 27 years. I don't recall if I was 27 or 28 back in the day, but growing up as a Sega kid has helped a lot, So because I was living that story, I was not only witnessing or only studying, I was living.
Yeah.
So I remembered all the difficult times. I remembered all the special times, all the great points, all the down points. So what I did was like an honest, an honest, my honest take on the whole situation,
Hmm.
plus sharing what I knew and what I thought that could be improved.
Hmm.
And obviously taking this to the PR side, and to the communication side, and it was great. It was great. We've managed to secure the contract, and I was the head of the account from 2011, from July of 2011 to March 2014.
Okay.
So it
Almost
was,
3 years.
yes. So it was great. It was great.
Hmm.
And during this period of time, I've managed to, with my team, of course, we've managed to release more than 70 games, both digitally and physical retail versions.
Hmm.
We did some amazing marketing and PR campaigns. They were they trusted us a lot. They trusted me a lot. So they were always supporting my crazy ideas. They wanted to see those crazy ideas to be something.
Come to life, right? And
Yeah, to come to life.
they knew you had good ideas, even if they sounded crazy, but they were good.
Yeah, yeah. For instance, it was crazy because we were very invested on alien colonial marines back in the day. It was an important product
Yeah.
in our
I saw the campaign you did, like the egg, right? The alien
yes,
egg.
yes. So can you imagine having to explain this idea with a limited budget, and with all the challenges of involving partners that we couldn't control, and the people who would be interacting with the alien egg in the subway. So yeah, of course they did support me a lot, and they were very happy when those things came to life. Those ideas came to life. So it
Hmm.
was an amazing partnership, and it was the foundation of my relationship, with Sega.
With Sega. Amazing.
And after that, during this time as a PR for Sega, I was the Sega guy in Brazil. This is a kind of an unofficial position, and and lots of people know me because of that. They even during periods that I wasn't working with Sega, if something big was happening related to Sega, they would come to me to ask my opinion and to ask if I could
Okay.
help, if I could put some people in contact with another people. I
Hmm.
have an example. I don't know if you recall when there was the announcement of the Shenmue collection for
Hmm.
the for PS4 and Xbox. There was the announcement of Shenmue 3 at E3, and later on, Sega did the announcement of the collection because everybody was expecting that. We have to
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
the previous ones.
Of
Everybody
course.
wanted that.
Yeah.
So the announcement was they took place on a ceremony or a party, an event in Japan, I don't recall the name of the event, but it was during an event in Japan, and they did the announcement there. So it was almost like 2 in the morning here in Brazil because of the time zones, the difference. And by 2
Was it
a.m.,
Sega Fest? Was it Sega
I
Fest?
I think it was Sega Fest. Yeah, I think it
Yeah, I
was Sega
think so.
Fest because of the time of the year. Yeah, and they did the announcement, and it was like 2 a.m. in the morning, and lots of journalists started to calling me. I wasn't involved with that. 2 a.m. in the morning, they knew that I was following the announcements. They knew that I was awake. And hey, dude, can you help me? How can I access the official press release in English? Can you put me in contact with the PR? So this happens a lot, even if I'm not involved with a campaign. So because of this long-term relationship with them, and when I left that PR agency, I had the chance to work with them again on the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So it didn't matter where I ended up going. At some point, our paths crossed once more.
You can't run away from Sega.
Yeah, and they can't run away from me.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Awesome.
so it was amazing.
Yeah.
So because of
That's
that,
great.
I had the chance to work with Sega America, Sega Europe, and Sega Japan. So I think I'm one of the few lucky ones who had the chance to work with all of the offices with several different representatives. And
Yeah.
and it was also great because with the experience that I did get from working with other PR agencies with several different clients, I've managed to compose a mix of experiences that it's great for me today. I had the chance to work with Konami, Ubisoft, Bandai Namco, Nvidia, SNK, 2K, Dotemu, Raw Fury. So now those are some of the clients that I put under my belt, and
Yeah.
all of these experiences combined brought me to this day with this company, and I can't complain. We're doing very good,
That's excellent. Would you say you're in the place that you always dreamed you would be right now?
Wow, that's a difficult question. That's a
Or
really,
is
really
there
difficult
something
question.
there's always something left to do, but is there like something that you would you ever imagine, by the way, back in the day that you would be doing this today? You would be working with all these video game companies and
Not in a million years. Not in a million years. When when I was a kid, and I decided to try to study to do the film school to pursue this path of filmmaking and being a director, screenwriter, and etc. It was hard to imagine that I would work with that because we don't have this consolidated industry, you know. So for me, it was even harder to imagine working with video games, But when I first started working with video games, I saw that it was way more real, way more real because there was a market already established here because of companies like Tectoy. Back in the day, they were the ones discovering this industry. They were the pioneers, and Playtronic with Nintendo, Gradiente, which is another company that worked with Nintendo back in the day. So those companies they helped a lot with creating this industry here. So when I started to work with first as a journalist, then with marketing, then PR, I saw that there was business there. There is business here, and so it was something that brought me security. The sensation and feeling of security. I know that I can pursue this path. I know that I can grow. I know that I can have a career. So in the end, video games there were a passion for. I can't remember since my 4 years old. As I told you, but
Yeah.
it's really crazy. And but the video games, this industry gave me everything that I've dreamed with the movie industry. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that I could achieve something on that industry, but I was looking to the wrong one. I should be looking to the other side.
But
So
it
that
helped,
was,
right? So
yeah,
it
for
helped.
sure, for
Definitely
sure.
helped,
Everything
right?
helps. Everything helps.
Yeah.
Our
And you're
mistakes.
you're 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 actually doing you're using your storytelling abilities in your creative
Absolutely,
skills, in
absolutely.
your
Yeah,
line of work now. So that's
yeah.
awesome.
Of course. Yeah. When I left the film school, when I graduated, my graduation is I graduated as a screenwriter and
Hmm.
director. So yeah, of course, I'm using that experience for sure, and I'm very very
Yeah.
grateful. But to answer your question, it's crazy because when I was working with Sega in 2011, 12, 13, 14, I was living the dream. I was living the dream, and it was amazing because these professionals at Sega, so the employees, they did welcome me as part of the family. So I wasn't a simple message boy, or I was part of
Yeah.
the environment. We had like channels to communicate, so I knew everything that was happening. I knew about future projects. I had to keep secrets. So I was a part of that. So
Yeah.
I was living the dream. I felt like I was working at Sega and for Sega.
Hmm.
And so can you imagine how powerful and big that was for a kid who was dreaming to achieve that with 7 years? So when I was
Yeah.
7 years old, I thought of being the CEO. So so during that
Yeah.
time, I kept dreaming about being hired by Sega,
Hmm.
and that was the next step for me. So I my motivation, waking up every day and working and representing them, was to do as the most amazing work, the greatest work that I could do, because I knew that at some point they would recognize me and bring me to work with them, being with a Sega branch in Brazil, or maybe if I could go to the US or Europe or maybe Japan. I don't know. So that was my dream. My dream. So for a long,
Hmm.
long time, that was my dream, to be part of Sega, so I could create my own career there. So at some point I could make decisions there, because I as I told you, when I was a
CEO.
kid, I wanted to be the CEO of the company.
Well, you already know the CEO now, so
Yeah, yeah.
you're one step closer to
No,
one day
we are
becoming the
we
CEO.
we are friends now. I've managed to get to know him properly. I have him on my LinkedIn, Facebook, all the contacts possible, so I can reach out to him. So this is something that I can do, fortunately, and I don't want to drop him from his position. But I was dreaming to be a part of that family, in order to achieve a position in which I could actively collaborate with the future of this company.
Hmm.
So, and I've been working my entire career towards this goal.
Hmm.
Everything changed when I had the opportunity to create something on my own. Create when I had the chance to create Masamune. So when I
Hmm.
started to create Masamune, was one of the key moments. Well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and this is going to be for real. So now
Hmm.
I'm going to be the owner of my own destiny. So
Yeah.
I kind of stopped that childhood dream of being Sega important employee when I started this company, because it demands a lot of energy, a lot of financial investment, a lot of, well, we had to put our lives at stake here, not only myself, but my family, and that's huge, that was a huge step. And
Yeah.
thankfully, and we are very thankful for
It's
that.
all it worked out, right?
Yeah,
It's working out.
it's blooming,
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so Renato, I don't want to keep you very long because we've been talking for a long time now. But
Hmm.
I wanted to ask you though, um, seeing as you've been a Sega kid, you grew up with Sega, you are still, a big Sega fan. Looking back to the Sega that you grew up with, and looking at the Sega that we have now, what do you think about Sega now? What do you see happening for Sega in the future? Do you think they are in a better position now that they were, after the Dreamcast died? What do you expect from Sega in the future? Would you like to tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think not just as a businessman, but also as a fan, as an observer, as someone that studies this whole big story. What I can tell is that Sega is in a great position now. I really believe that the company has a brilliant future. I think that. All of the changes that at some point didn't make sense for lots of people and for a lot of people and lots of fans, they will soon start to make sense. Most of them are starting to make sense now. Let me tell you one example. I know that was really hard for people to understand why Sega didn't take the IPs from Atlus and made that their own IPs. So why to make Atlus as to keep Atlus as a separate company, But it was very confusing at the beginning. But now that things are on track, you know, it's easier to see why. So this is a form of expansion. This is a form of this is a way to in which they can secure their presence. They can diversify. They can create more and more. So those business decisions, I think some it's they can be really hard to comprehend if you are a fan or if you are on the other side of the counter, when, as we say.
Yeah.
When you are inserted in the industry, you kind of start to getting the idea. And it's really really hard and takes time, but I see that Sega has a brilliant future because of this global vision that they've been trying to adopt for the past years. I was part of big moments of Sega, but I was also a part of bad moments. So everybody knows about the good points and bad points. It's clear for a fan, but since I had the chance to be living those parts, good or bad, I've been able to observe, and now I can see that this is going towards towards a place that will be really really good for the fans, and that will bring them closer than ever. Because Sega's past, even in Brazil, it was marvelous, it was amazing, but we didn't have a lot of things that we have today. Like we couldn't reach out to Sega as we can now with a simple tweet or a simple message on Instagram, or maybe taking part on a Sega test from Sega of Japan. So those ideas, those actions, and those things that Sega are able to put out now with everything that they have at their disposal will make the situation better and better. And since they are investing in several regions, in getting to know more markets and etc., they will for sure will have a better understanding of the worldwide market and the global market, and this will
Mm-hmm.
benefit everyone from retail shops to gamers to companies in the middle doing distribution. So I think that Sega is great at reinventing itself. And the moment that we have now, it's the start of the payoff. They've been reinventing themselves. They've been investing in producing stuff that now we are seeing the payoff. This
Mm-hmm.
case that I've told you about Yakuza Like a Dragon, to have subtitles in Brazilian Portuguese and Russian. Also, the same thing that happened in Russia. The first time a
Yeah.
game has Russian subtitles. This is huge. Look at the size of that market. So this is a very important moment. It's a moment of change, and I'm very very happy to be here with them for this moment.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that we will be rewarded for that, because it's difficult. One of the main difficulties for Sega fans is to understand and to leave the past in the past, the painful part of the past. People, and this is our fault as well. I bet this is your fault as well. This is my fault when we say things on the internet like, "Oh my God, I think the Dreamcast 2 will be announced next year." Okay, it's just a thing that we are. It's just we are just kidding. But this will of course this will reinforce the moments of the company in which they stopped creating consoles. So I don't know if you if
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
if you agree with me, but this is something that if you see the biggest part of the fans that have these regrets and carrying negative thoughts towards the actions of the company, they are somewhat related to the disappointment they had in the past, and more
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
specifically with that moment. Because of
Yeah.
course they were let down. Of course they were. I was as well. I felt that. Can you imagine how a kid like myself react when I was in school and my PlayStation friends told me, "Hey, suck it! Now your console is dead. You have to be able to join my console."
Yeah.
So oh my god, it's stupid now. It's something that we can laugh about, but in the past it wasn't.
It was
It
big.
was
It was big. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was huge. It was huge. So
Mm-hmm.
and those scars they stay with us. So if we could understand that moment with a business perspective, with what's the really meaning of that, and that Sega, they don't need to produce consoles to be the company that we've always liked. They
Mm-hmm.
are creating new IPs. They are investing on old ones. They are bringing back the classics every time. Every year we have re-releases, so the past won't die. The classic retro fans, they can be rest assured that they will be supported. The guys and girls who like the bold and new IPs, they are also well served. So
Mm-hmm.
this balance is very important, and this whole restructuring that is happening on the past few years, they're starting to pay off, because of that very reason.
Okay, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. Okay. So we will leave links in the description, but you also have a YouTube channel that you started, I think, 3 months ago, was it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I think everybody started something during this pandemic, right? So like a personal project. Some people started to make bread. Some people started to exercise. So I, as a filmmaker, I wanted to put together a YouTube channel to talk about my personal passions, and obviously
Mhm.
it's going to be video games. So since January this year, I started to take my YouTube channel seriously. So I'm putting new videos every week, playing some Mega Drive games and sharing stories. Unfortunately, those stories are also they are all in Portuguese, so it's more focused on the Brazilian audience. But
We have a lot of Portuguese speaking people listening to this show as well,
yeah,
I'm
for
sure. So
sure, for
it's
sure, for
yeah,
sure.
and also it's a good excuse to learn Portuguese if you want
Okay,
to
I like that
understand.
idea.
If you want to understand Renato's videos, just learn Portuguese, and you're set.
Well, I'll be flattered. But also for people who decide not to learn Brazilian Portuguese or Portuguese, I've also created an Instagram account to share my collection. So this is something that several friends of mine have been encouraging me to do, and I didn't do before because I was a bit lazy of taking good photographs and good pictures of my collection. But I did listen to them. I heard them, and I've created an account on Instagram to share like the gems of my personal collection, and obviously it's 99.9% Sega. So
Yes.
uh, games, collector's editions, press kits, very rare press kits. Brazilian rare stuff, like Tectoy stuff. So it's really nice, and you don't have to learn Portuguese for that because it's for the pictures. But I also will compose the post both in Portuguese and English. Since
Hmm.
it's easier to create like short posts and short Instagram posts there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we'll leave the links in the description of the show as well. So do check that out. And I love that you also have the Sega Forever tape. I
Oh
also
yeah.
have one.
So
and
you are one of the lucky ones.
I love the fact that the envelope that the cassette tape came in had like the Sega slogan
Uh huh.
from the 90s in
Yeah.
Portuguese.
Yes.
So that was a nice detail. So shout out to
Nice.
Danny Russell for that
Yes.
detail.
Yeah, it was amazing, amazing to work with Danny on this campaign. We've distributed that tape here in Brazil for several journalists. It was crazy because
Mhm.
when I got the tapes, I immediately started to send that to the media here. But several journalists they were already in Los Angeles for E3 that year.
Oh.
So I had to bring lots of tapes with me to E3 as well. So on the first day of the show, I was looking for the journalists to deliver the tapes there, and I could saw their reaction live. So I saw their crying eyes. I did the
Awesome.
chance to witness that. So you know what I'm talking about.
This is one of the things that I have in my collection that I treasure the most because
Oh yeah.
it's music, it's Sega music, so it means a lot to me.
Hmm.
And it's I don't know, I really can't explain why this simple cassette tape makes me so happy, but it does. I think
Yeah.
this was a great idea. This is a
I feel the
great
same
idea.
way. I feel the same way. Do you remember the number of your tape?
I have
Because
it
they
right
they
here
are
with me.
numbered. Okay.
It's 150. So I think
Okay.
you're
Okay.
90 something. I saw on your
No,
Instagram post,
yeah,
right?
93. 93.
93. So I'm
Yeah.
150.
I'm trying to locate the numbers 1 to 5. Danny, it's like 7 or 8. I don't know.
Okay. If you have numbers 1 to 5, let us know
Let us
at
know,
the
please.
Sega Lounge on Twitter, or just follow Renato as well. The link will be in the description.
Thank you.
So and let us know. Let us know. We want to find you. We want to
Thank
talk to
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and I want to reinforce that for everybody listening to the show here to the podcast, if by any chance you got curious about any aspects of Sega in Brazil, please reach out to me. It will be a pleasure to share any stories or information. I really like to tell more about the what we had in terms of history here in my territory. It's very
Awesome.
different, and I saw that a lot of creators, Sega creators on YouTube or Instagram, etc. They did their research. They did they study. I'm always listening to stories on YouTube channels in which people will mention the singularities of my market, of the Brazilian market because of everything that Tectoy created in the past. So it's great. I'm very happy to
Awesome.
hear it.
Yeah, yeah. So do that, people. Do that. Okay, Nat, we have one more question. It's the last question. It's what I ask all of my guests. Okay.
Cool.
So you are obviously familiar with the concept of blast processing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the Genesis in the US was supposed to have blast processing to make it more powerful and faster than the competition. So my question to you is, let's imagine blast processing is a thing that you can use and apply it to anything in the world. So if you could add blast processing to anything in the world, what would it be and why?
At this moment, there's only one answer for that question. I would apply blast processing to the whole vaccination campaign to put an end to this pandemic.
Hmm. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only
So
the only thing that I can think about and imagine right now is to make things more easy and to accelerate the end of this nightmare that all been living for the past
mhm.
almost year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
It's
sorry
the
to
the
give
only thing.
such a sober and not funny answer. I'm really sorry.
But it really is what we need right now to go back to some sort of normal, right? That we don't have
Yeah, and you know
for so
why?
long.
You know why? As a key part of the community, you obviously will know why. But because this pandemic took from us one of the most important parts of our lives, that's is the living in society. Getting
Yeah, yeah.
together, seeing people. I would love to meet you like
Oh, for sure.
a month from now, like in a business trip to Europe, But it won't
Hmm.
be possible because we have to stay home, and obviously that's the right thing to do. But it's painful, It's
Hmm.
painful
Hmm.
to, yeah.
Yeah, we're,
So
we're not meant to live this way. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
We have to be hopeful.
So let's hope for some blast processing applied to this whole vaccination process. Hopefully, we can get together soon and we can
Yes,
meet one
yes.
another and meet other friends and other community personalities as well. So, Renato, thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I know you'll have to come back soon to tell us more
Well,
stories.
it will be a pleasure. There are tons of stories, lots of
Awesome.
stories. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. I really appreciate your time for sitting out and listening to to me. And I really appreciate the audience and everybody listening to this show. It's been amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you very
so
much.
much.
Thank you, Renat. What an amazing conversation that was. I honestly hope you enjoyed getting to know more about this amazing Sega fan. I know I had a lot of fun just listening to Renato's stories. That truly is what this show is all about. And you can expect more interesting guests to follow. I'd like to just casually mention that I'm here recording this as I take a sip of water off my The Sega Lounge branded mug. That may or may not mean I'll be sharing some news on how to get official The Sega Lounge merch from our website. So keep your eyes on thesegalounge.com, our social media, and of course, your ears on this podcast for news on that very soon. Until then, I wish you all a wonderful, fun, and most of all, safe week. Thank you very much for listening, and please join me on the next episode for more Sega Talk. Bye-bye! The Sega Lounge, hosted by me, KC, and part of Radio Sega's network of live shows and podcasts. Theme song and incidental music by OSC. Find them at opussciencecollective.bandcamp.com. Got any suggestions? Drop me an email to podcast@thesegalounge.com. Follow us on Twitter @thesegalounge and like us at facebook.com/thesegalounge. You can find previous episodes of the show by going to thesegalounge.com and wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. A Mixed On Productions podcast.